Well, hello, everybody. Happy Sunday. How are you? My name is Scott Pinyard. I am the head coach here at This Naked Mind, and I'm going live today, like I do almost every Sunday, to talk to you about some of the stuff that I'm seeing, some of the stuff that is going on, some of the stuff that's been rattling around in my head for the week. And today I want to talk to you about the basics for a really interesting reason, actually. There's a lot of reasons to talk about this, but I'm going to dive into it in a moment. I want to encourage you, say hello, tell me that you can hear me, tell me where you're at, send me your questions when I get through with what I have to say. I'm happy to be here and answer any questions you might have. So before I jump in, I want to give you guys an invitation. Hey, Ellie, how's it going? Glad you're here. I want to give you guys an invitation. I want to give you guys an invitation to join me and Annie for our upcoming live virtual event. And it's going to be totally free. It starts on February 7th, so a week from tomorrow, at least for my time zone. And what we are going to do is we are going to go live in the group every single day, 5 times. We're going to go live. We're going to walk you through some content that we know is perspective shifting. We're going to give you homework, right? We're going to give you things that you can do to engage your own thoughts and beliefs around alcohol. And so I would love to have you there. Again, it's 100% free. The link is in the top of this video, and you are, of course, welcome to join us and sign up. It's going to be really fun. And don't worry, if you can't be there with us live, there'll be replays available. But every time we do one of these virtual events, it is incredibly fun. It is a fantastic week. Don't tell anyone. It's some of my favorite weeks of my job. But we are going to get started on February 7th. So the link is in the description. It is also at controlalcohollive.com. Controlalcohollive.com. That's where you can sign up. You can join us there. The group is actually open right now. As a matter of fact, we are rolling. We have conversations happening there now, and then a week from tomorrow we're going to start the content. So I'd love it if you could join us there. It's a ton of fun. So let me say hello to a few people. Jim, how's it going, Jim? I'm glad you're here. Lori, hello. Anne Marie, how's it going, Anne Marie? Glad you're here. Sue Steele says day 30. I could not have done it without you guys. Thank you so much. Holy cow. First of all, yes, you could have, right? You did it, which is amazing. I love hearing that. So congratulations on that, Sue. That's really, really incredible. All right. And Karen in California. How's it going, Karen in California? I'm glad you're here. So again, I want to talk a little bit about the basics here and sort of tee this up. Leonie in Oz, welcome. Day 21. That's fantastic. I want to talk a little bit about the basics. And some people are like, what are you talking about? The basics, like the basics of what? The basics of what we need to be humans, right? To function. And, these are things like getting enough sleep. These are things like getting exercise. These are things like eating okay, right? Not perfect. And spending time with friends and family and loved ones. Here's what I see, right? And there's a reason I want to bring this up, and I want to tell you about it specifically, right? People often get so focused on a goal. Like we get so intent on whatever it might be. And I have a story about that later that I'm going to tell you about, but we get so focused and we like take all of this extra time, right? We're like, oh, I want to like really shift my relationship with alcohol, or I really want to lose weight, or I really want to whatever, do this course, do this thing, build this side gig, right? Whatever it might be. And it's all awesome, right? Because we get really excited and we're like, I am going to stay up late. I am going to, get up early, right? I'm going to make this an absolute priority in my life. And that is really fantastic. And that can be beneficial for sure. But when we do this over the long haul, we can start to really feel it, right? We can start to be completely and totally overwhelmed by not taking care of ourselves. And I know, guys, I know that this is common sense and we understand it, but I want to give you a different frame to think about it, because even though the goal we're working toward, right, changing our relationship with alcohol, or starting that company, or whatever it might be for you, right? Even though the goal we're working toward is a great goal, if we burn ourselves out along the way, we don't get there, right? And I see this so often. I see this so often where people are kind of eschewing, ESCHEW. I never know how to say the word, eschewing. I don't know, whatever. Getting rid of those basic things in the name of this long-term goal. It's super common. And I think this year, I'm noticing it a lot more, certainly this time of the year, but also this year, just with the last 2 years have been so crazy, right? Like it feels like our lives have been turned upside down and inside out, and like whatever was constant wasn't constant for us anymore. And so we end up in this place where we throw out habits, or we get rid of things that we know help us feel better, that we know are actually contributing to our growth, but they just seem like chores, right? I don't want to go to bed on time because I want to stay up. Right? I don't want to get up early. I never want to get up early. I don't want to get up early. But I really, really want that goal. And so what ends up happening is we burn ourselves out, right? And we're already maybe in a difficult position to begin with. This happened to me, a few years ago. I remember when I was first getting started in coaching, right? So I was taking on one-on-one clients. I don't do that anymore, but I used to do that before I joined This Naked Mind. And I had a lot of people who were interested, and I was so motivated, right? Like my goal was like, I want to help people find freedom. I had just found it myself, and I was like, I want to give this to as many people as possible. That was my goal. And when I went there, when I started doing it, I started taking on clients. Now, at this time, right, I had a 50-hour-a-week job plus a wife and kids. And so I would take 1 or 2 calls before work. I'd get up at 4 a.m. and I would take a call at 5, and I would have a call at 6, and then I would help everyone get ready for work. And then I would go to work all day. And then after work, what I would do is I'd hang out with the family a bit, and then I'd have calls at 9, 10, 11 o'clock at night. I'd go to bed and I'd get up and do it all the same way again. Right. And I did this every single day. And then the weekends were totally packed because, right, that was so much time that I had. And so during this time, I wasn't going to the gym. I wasn't moving my body. I was grabbing whatever food that I could. Now, again, the whole idea was like I was doing this in service of this bigger goal. And you can guess what happened, right? At the time, I looked at my smartwatch, and I recognized, wow, I averaged like less than 4 hours of sleep a night this week. And that's an average, by the way, which means some nights were higher, but some nights were lower. And I burned myself out, right? Like all of this work in this idea, in the search of this goal, was actually stopping me from getting where I wanted to do, because I was taking on so much, because I had let go of the basics. And you've probably heard someone talk about this before. If it wasn't me, I'm sure you've heard someone else talk about the fact, there's this Ford magazine article that was doing research on how long people kept their New Year's resolutions, right? And the average date, the average amount of time, or the average day that most New Year's resolutions get thrown out the window, according to Forbes magazine, it's January 19th. That was a week ago, a little over a week ago, right? This is what happens because we get so focused and we let go of the things that really help us. And you might be feeling this right now on your journey with alcohol. We have so many people who get so motivated to make this shift, right? To really make this change, that we start thinking, man, I got this has to be my sole focus, right? All of my spare time needs to be put into this. I'm going to get up a little bit earlier every day. I'm going to get up way earlier every day. I'm going to stay up way later every day. And we start losing track of those basic things that actually help us do what we want to do. And I think it's fantastic to have that desire to change. But when that desire to change overrides our desire to do the things that our minds and bodies need to do to be effective, it becomes counterproductive, right? That was me. I was so enthusiastic about getting to the place where I was doing helping clients, but I was getting rid of sleep, and I wasn't eating, and I was skipping breakfast, right? I was doing all of these things, didn't have time for the gym anymore, and I burned out, right? I had one Saturday where my alarm went off. I didn't have a call till later in the day. It was like 8 hours. It was in the evening. My alarm went off and I turned it off, and then I slept for another 6 hours, right? And I had just slept for like 10, right? This is burning out. This is pushing ourselves too hard. And so often on any change journey, but particularly with this alcohol journey, there's this desire of like, I need to do this now. I need to push myself now. I need to make everything about this. And again, that motivation is good, but we burn ourselves out. And so it often is this question of like, okay, fine, what do I do now? Right? Like, hey, I wanted to make this really big shift. I've done all of this stuff and it's all great. But that plan that you have for, reading the book or going through the content in whatever program you might be in, that plan is really great as long as you make sure that you have space for those other things. Your desire to change is really strong. And so it seems like, all right, I'm going to let go of these other things. I'm just not going to spend that time, right? I don't need to go to the gym because you know what? I'm reading this book, or I have to do this other thing. And it's great and it's fun, but it doesn't last long. And that's the thing about this journey with alcohol. This is not an overnight thing. Ask me how I know. I think some of you have heard me tell the story before, the I Quit Drinking with This Naked Mind, the book. And I remember when I first bought it, I was there and I was reading it, and it was really, really exciting, right? And I had isolated myself in my room, and it was like this totally fresh, different perspective, different ways of seeing things, different way of kind of understanding where I was at and how I could move forward. And I read the whole thing cover to cover in 2 days, the whole thing. Now, at the very beginning of the book, Annie says not to do that, right? But I was motivated, right? So because of this, right? Because of this motivation, I wasn't integrating this stuff into my daily life. I wasn't recognizing, wait a minute, what is it that I actually need? How can I actually move through? And even though at the end of that weekend, I was very excited. I remember I came out of the bedroom and I told my wife, like, I'm done, right? I'm never drinking again. That wasn't true. It was just a few days later, I found myself drinking again. And it was a huge, huge lesson for me. It's when I realized, wait a minute, this is a journey, right? This process of changing my relationship with alcohol is a journey. It's something that takes time. And when I try to shortcut it, I don't get where I want to go, right? What did I get out of that weekend of reading the book? What I got was a weekend alone. And I didn't make a lot of progress with my alcohol journey. But when I took the book and I said, okay, I'm going to take my time going through this. I'm going to spend 2 months. And that's what I did. It took me 2 months. It's not a very long book. 2 months, like journaling this and living this. That's when the change happened for me. And during that time, by the way, I was not letting the basics fall off. I wasn't saying, oh, I can't go to the gym today because I have to read this chapter. I integrated it into what I was doing. Now, what that requires is us recognizing that the pain we might be feeling or the desire that we might be feeling to change is a good thing, and doing the work we need to do, not to constantly feed it, but to support it for the long term. Right? Drive and a desire to change can be a really, really good thing. But if we are not doing the basics, we end up in that January 20th mindset of just being like, holy cow, I cannot believe how tired I am. Oh my God, I haven't spent any time with my family or friends. We will get burned out. And that is so common this time of year, right? And you can think back to making that resolution and thinking like, wow, I really want to do this thing. I really want to go in this direction. And that's really fantastic. Like, it's really, really awesome. However, those things that we do, right? Like moving our bodies, like getting enough sleep, like drinking enough water, right? Like those basic things, those are the scaffolding, right? And that's what I want to give you today. I want to kind of reframe this in the way of saying, first, it's okay to give yourself rest. It's okay to give yourself time. It's okay to give yourself a break, right? And to be able to focus on these things, right? Those basics that help us along the way, right? They help us be able to show up and learn. They help us be able to show up and absorb information. They're like the scaffolding, right? That holds up whatever our change journey happens to be. And when we skimp on those for too long, what starts to happen is they collapse. And then our whole journey collapses under its own weight. So if you are in a place right now where you're feeling like, man, like I have been pushing myself so hard, I have been doing these things and I am not doing the basics, I want to give you permission to focus on the basics. Yeah. Like I want to give you permission to give yourself enough time to sleep, to give yourself enough time to relax and recharge. Taking time to do those things is only going to help you on your journey. It is not going to slow you down. So what I want to suggest to you today is that this entire process is a journey, right? Not just the time that you spend reading the books, not just the time that you spend journaling, not just the time that you spend thinking about it, but living your life is the process. Right? Taking the ideas and the things you are learning and letting them marinate for a bit. You don't have to power through all the videos right now. You don't have to power through the entire book in 2 days. Your job is to take the information and either if it's in one of our programs or if you're trying to go to the gym more regularly or whatever it might be, right? These things we're trying to do, these changes we're making in our lives, our job is to integrate those changes in our lives, not force them, right? Not force them at the expense of other things. So if you are focusing on whatever your goal is so hard and skipping the basics, do yourself a favor, right? Give yourself some space. Yes, we want to change. And yes, it's going to be awesome when we get there. But so much of this journey is about learning how to love and respect yourself again. You know, particularly with this alcohol journey, we spend so much time beating ourselves up. I know that for me, like my default mode was negative self-talk, being negative with myself, being unwilling to invest in myself, to put time in for, you know, whether that's time or money or whatever it was, because everything else was more important. And it wasn't until I took a step back and I said, wait a minute, these basics, these aren't something that's in my way. These are part of the process. So if you are feeling like, hey, you know what? I had all of these ideas for 2021 and man, it's a month in, what the hell happened? I want you to check in with yourself on these basics, right? Are you allowing them to happen? Are you allowing yourself to have space? Are you allowing yourself to rest? There's a very good chance that answer is no. And I want to say right now that that is part of the process. So I hope that's helpful to you out there. I don't know who may need to hear that today, but that was what was on my mind when I was getting ready for this live. I want to encourage you guys, send me some questions while I'm chatting away here. Let's see. I already read that from Sharon. Oh, no, I didn't. Sharon, day 93 from the November and January alcohol experiment. Happy to be alcohol-free in Port Townsend, Washington. That is so incredibly awesome. It's so funny what happens, right? As those days start going and, you know, Sharon, you're not far away from hitting triple digits, which is really exciting. So congratulations on that. That is so, so cool. Andrea in New Zealand. How's it going, Andrea? Let's see. Marita said, just signed up for the path, feeling nervous and excited. Yes. Well, Marita, you're going to hear me talk about this on the path as you get going into this, right? It's so great to have that enthusiasm, but make sure that you're supporting yourself along the way. And welcome. I'm really excited to see you there. Kimberly Lynn said, I've signed up, but I will be at work when the live happens. Yes. Don't worry, Kimberly, don't worry. First of all, these are like Facebook Live. So like as soon as we stop going live, like I'm doing right now, it will be available in the group. So you'll be able to watch all of it and get caught up for anything you miss. And I got to say, like, look, I know I'm awesome, everybody. I'm aware of this. No, I'm kidding. But like, I know it's great to be there live, but and the content is really good. But like a huge, huge part of this journey is the community, right? Is being there. And that, Kimberly, is going to be available 24 hours a day. So whether or not you can make the lives, I mean, it's a nice to have, but it's not a must have. But man, that group and that content and being able to talk about it and internalize it together, it makes an incredible difference. So I'm really excited that you'll be joining us. Thank you for saying that. And thank you for signing up, Kimberly. Lynn says the link doesn't work. Paige says not available. Let me check into that and I will get back to you, Lynn. Sorry about that. Lynn, another Lynn in Spain. Hi, Lynn in Spain. That's really awesome. I love, international lives. It's so funny. I explained to my 7-year-old son recently, like, I go live sometimes and I literally talk to people around the world, and he was like, whoa. And I was like, that's right. This is actually, I mean, I'm 41, I'll be 42 this year, but like, it is really weird to think like this was not something possible when I was 7 years old. So anyway, I always love it when you tell me you're from other countries. I can go tell Murray, which is always exciting. So thank you for that and welcome, Lynn. Yes, Ellie says we end up being far more productive, effective, and efficient. Yes, 100%, 100%. Good. It sounds like some people need to hear this. This is good. This is so good. Yeah. Marita said she needed to hear it. Sue said, I needed to hear this. 20 years of drinking on day 30. I need to stop reading for 5 minutes and do some other activity. Yeah. Well, what's funny? So, Sue, you're pointing to something that's really interesting. And I will talk about this sometimes, in groups when I coach people. They'll be so focused, right? There's like so focused on this goal. Like, I want to get alcohol free. I want to get alcohol free. I want to get alcohol free. And like, even like you, like they get alcohol free. I just had this actually on one of our VIP calls in November. And this lady says to me, she's like, Scott, I haven't drank in 90 days. And, I'm reading these blogs about alcohol and I'm listening to these, and they were lists. Like, it wasn't just like one or two. She's like, everything I'm doing is around this. And I'm spending so much time and focus on this. And I just asked her, what would happen if you didn't? Like what would happen if you just like spent time living your life? And it was like, I'm serious. It was, Sue, it was like a weight just like lifted off of her shoulders. So I'm glad this resonated with you because this is absolutely something that like so many people love to hear, because it's a recognition of, wait a minute, what am I doing this journey for? Right. And that's the thing. That's what I ultimately told this lady in November. Like, why are you making this change? And she's like, well, I want to be there for my kids and my husband and my community. She was very involved with her church. And I'm like, what if you did that? Right. Because she was like solidly alcohol free and feeling good. And it's like, yeah, anyway, so it's such a funny thing, right? Like we can get so focused and that we forget that there's other parts of life, and there is. So I'm super excited for you, Sue. That's really exciting. Rita said, hi, Scott, just want to say you're an inspiration. Thank you. Thank you, Rita. Will there be a chance to join the path later this year? Yes. So the path opens occasionally. If you're on our email list, you will absolutely hear about it. So yes, there are options later this year. Although, Rita, I can't let this opportunity go to maybe nudge you a little bit. If you are feeling like this is somewhere you want to go, I would highly recommend getting started sooner rather than later. It's one of the things. Linda is in the path and she says it's the best. Thank you, Linda. It's one of the things I see so often in this journey of people saying, well, you know what, I'll get to that in a few months. And I mean, just real talk here, Rita, like That doesn't happen very often. So if you are feeling pulled, if you are feeling drawn, if you're saying, man, this is something I really want to do, then I absolutely want you to get signed up as soon as possible. You know, one of the things that I do in talking to groups and talking to people with This Naked Mind is inviting people into our programs, right? And it's so funny when I look at that and I look at the journey, because we have to strike while the iron's hot. Right. And so, Rita, you probably know this from your own journey. I'm sure you're going to relate with this. But so often, like, the idea of change, or not the idea, the desire to change is fickle, right? Like, I know in my journey, there would be times when I was like really, really focused on it, and then it would go away a little bit. And who knows how long it would be till it came back. You know, sometimes I would be really driven to change, and then I would either try and not do it, or I'd talk myself out of it. And it could be months, right? It could be years. And I wasn't able to make that change. And I remember when I quit thinking, man, I wish I had done that, right? I wish I had done that when I did. So anyway, Rita, all of that, again, not meant to be pressure, but just want to give that to you for consideration, because it is something that's a real reality with this journey. So either way, whether it's now or later, we would love to have you on the path, Rita. It'd be very, very exciting. Let's see. Lucy is in the UK. Awesome. Oh, Marcia says I'm in Germany. So we got Germany and Canada and Australia. This is fantastic. Kimberly said, I purchased the book, This Naked Mind. I'm feeling this is very important for me to hear. Good. I'm glad. I'm so, so glad. Sue's in the UK. That's awesome. Let's see. Rita says, I am, but I work long hours and I'm a carer, so I may miss some of the important lives. So Rita, this is something else. Rita, I want to tell you, actually, you know what I would like to do, Rita? If you would like to talk to one of us about the path, I don't do this very often, but Rita, send me an email. I'm at coach@thisnakedmind.com. So coach, like Coach Scott, but it's just coach@thisnakedmind.com. Send me an email. And I would be willing to get you connected with a path coach so they can answer all of these questions. You know, we have this program designed because, you know, we're here in the States. And one of the things that happens all the time is we have people all over the world. And so we need to design call schedules and program dissemination and all of this stuff for that, which means that, like, everything is designed to either experience live when you can or not, right? And so there's call replays and live replays and all of this stuff. So I would love to be the chance. If you're saying that schedule's the thing that's holding you back, shoot me an email, coach@thisnakedmind.com. I'll get you in touch with someone who can answer those questions and help you decide. And maybe you're right. By the way, I don't want to say, like, you know, don't wait, but, like, I also want to say, don't wait. Like, let us answer your questions. I'd be more than happy to connect you with someone. So I hope that helps, Rita. Let's see. Linda started in August. It's very good. Kylie in Australia. Hello there. How are you? Welcome. All right, everyone. Lynn said, I joined up in November, 30 days alcohol free. It was easy and I actually do not want to drink, but I did again. It was Christmas and I could not spend time with family in the UK. And I've been going about a week and then having a drink again. I'm now back into This Naked Mind. I noticed when I was bored, I would go to the bar and drink. I don't drink in the house. When I do, I am full of remorse. I'm making changes, including making plans and change. I'm aware when I drink, I'm putting myself back and blocking my way forward. That is incredible, right? That is so good, right? What I'm seeing here, Lynn, is that you got to a place you wanted to be. And then you had a few data points, and you're mining those data points for the information that it's telling you, right? That's what this process is. You've probably heard, Lynn, depending on what programs you've done, you know, either me or Annie, like any sort of program we've been in, we'll often talk about, people think that progress is like, oh, I'm going to start at point A and I'm going to get to point B and it's just going to be a straight line. That is never how this process works. It's actually not how any change process works. What really happens is we start at point A and then we do this and we go all over the place and there's ups and downs and left turns and right turns, and then we get to point B. The point of telling you this is this, right? this is your journey. And I just really want to congratulate you by saying, hey, you know what? I was in a place I want to be. Now I'm in somewhere else I don't know if I want to be. And I want to change, right? That's exactly what this is about. So Lynn, I really very much hope you aren't beating yourself up, because that's not going to be productive for you long term. But I'm really, really happy to hear about your progress and the work you're continuing to do. I think that's really awesome. So you deserve a huge pat on the back. So way to go, Lynn. All right. Just being there, even though it's virtual, gives me the support I need. That's great, Anna. I'm very, very happy to hear that. That's what we want to do, right? That's why I'm here every week. So anyway, if you find yourself, focusing a lot of time and giving up on those basics in search of some goal, my question for you now is, how's that going for you? What happens so often, especially on something like New Year's resolutions, is we end up burning ourselves out. So don't sell yourself short. Give yourself the space and time that you need to make this change. Recognize that those basics, right? Getting enough sleep, moving your body, eating, drinking water, right? Being with friends and family, those basics are the scaffold on which you build any change. So how much attention you pay to those is going to directly correlate and directly impact how your change journey goes. One of the things that I tell people in our programs all the time, and they'll say, Scott, I really just want to change. I really just want to quit. Why am I still having these thoughts about drinking? Why am I still drinking? Why? I always remind them that none of us got to where we were with alcohol overnight, right? I had my first beer when I was 18 years old. The next day, I was not in the same place with alcohol that I was 20 years later when I quit, or less than 20 years, whatever it is, 15 years later when I quit. That takes time. And so expecting ourselves to get out of it faster than that is just not fair. So give yourself the gift of the basics. If you find that you have not been doing that, if you find that you have let those go, then I would highly, highly recommend spending some time with that focus and spending some time on those basics, because then you are just shoring up the scaffolding on which you can build that next step for yourself. So I hope that helps. Oh, I also saw Rita said, is there weekend support? Weekend support, yes, Rita. So we have calls, there's weekend calls, there's weekend lives, there's all types of stuff there. So again, Rita, coach@thisnakedmind.com. If you want to talk to a coach, I will make that happen. And if you would like to join us, I want to invite all of you to a free virtual event. It starts on February 7th. The group is open now. You can find out all of the information at controlalcohollive.com. controlalcohollive.com. That's how you can get signed up. Annie and I are going to go live every single day. It is free. It starts on the 7th, and we're going to have a great time together. So I really hope you can join us there. And that is it for me. So thank you for hanging out with me today. It was awesome to get a chance to spend some time with all of you, and I'll see you again next week.